Welcome to KOWA LOAMS. Thank you for joining us for today's enhanced user training. In today's three-part training, you'll learn how to manage equipment, how to track trends using compare graphs and trend graphs, and how to use filters and report distributions. With KOWA LOAMS, you have complete control over your equipment. To get started, simply click on the equipment button found on the top of your screen. This takes you directly to your equipment hierarchy, where you can easily review or modify your equipment. On the left side of the screen, you have your equipment hierarchy. On the right side of the screen, you have your details. Depending on where you click on the left, determines what details are displayed on the right. Starting at the top of the hierarchy, you have your yellow folders. These represent areas or regions. Based on your data access, you may need to expand the folders to view the worksite level. Clicking on the plus sign to the left of it allows you to expand into the next level of the hierarchy, the blue folder icon. These are your work sites. At this level, you can view the customer details, which show you account information that we have on file. You can also view the unit list, which we'll come back to in a moment. The other tab we have is the summary, where you'll see when you have unviewed critical or abnormal samples as well as units that are due for sampling. Expanding further down the hierarchy, we can see all the units under a worksite. Each unit is identified by a gear icon. On the unit level, you can view and modify unit and component details. The last level of the hierarchy is the component level indicated by the wrench icon. Clicking on the component is where you can see the complete component sample history, details on the component, as well as the maintenance tab. Maintenance events show up on trend graphs. Go back to unit list, then click add to add a unit. You'll notice when we click add, we see the option to choose either mobile or industrial. Well, what's the difference between mobile or industrial? With the mobile setting, make and model are required. Also, component profiles are preloaded based on the equipment type. These options are great for customers with fleets of mobile equipment. With the industrial setting, there's no preloaded equipment type profile. Add components individually or create custom component names. The industrial settings are great for customers with industrial equipment. If you do not see one of these settings but would like to access it, please contact your site administrator or the KOWA LOAMS support desk. If you're using mobile equipment, select the mobile button. Start by entering your make and model. Then make a selection from the list populated below. Please be as detailed as possible when making a selection. Now, if you do not see your make and model in the list, please click Look Up Models to do a more advanced search. If your make and model is not listed in the database, please use the Request New Make and Model button. When you submit a new make and model request, you have the ability to use that model right away when you come back in and do a search. Also, an email is sent over to our admin, who will review and add it to the list for all online users. Fill in the unit ID as well as the optional fields including serial number and age of units. Select the checkboxes next to the components you're sampling from. If you'd like to modify a component, click on the link, and from here you can update the component information, including oil type or sample frequency. Then when you're ready to save this unit, you can click the Save and Done buttons, and you've just created a mobile unit. Now to add an industrial unit, select Industrial. Enter your make and model, if known. Again, we'll fill in the unit ID and other fields as needed. If you do not see the make and model that you need listed, you do have the ability to submit a new make and model request. Once all the unit information is filled out, here's where we can add in the components we're sampling from. Click on the plus sign. Select a type from the drop-down list. The description will automatically fill in with the type you've created. If you'd like to rename this component, you can do so by typing your custom name in this field. There are also a number of optional fields including position, oil information, and sample frequency. When searching for a lube type, please search for lube manufacturer, lube brand, and lube grade. If you don't see the lube that you need in the list, you can enter a new lube type to have that lube type added into the system. Like with the make and model request, you can then use this lube type immediately once you come back in and do a search. Lastly, click Done, then Save, and we've just saved an industrial unit. Now we will go over modifying equipment, and there are several ways to do so. First, you can select on a unit under the Unit List tab and click Modify. You also have the option to modify unit by clicking on the unit on the left and clicking Modify on the right. You can modify components by selecting at the component level or the unit level by clicking on a specific component. Sometimes equipment moves from one location to another. To move a unit to a new location, all we'll do is start by clicking on the left side of the screen, selecting the worksite where the unit is currently located. Then on the right, we're going to check the box for the unit. Now we can drag this unit from the right side of our screen to the left side of our screen and drop it on top of the location where it needs to be moved to. Once we let go of the mouse, we'll see a message that says, "Are you sure you want to move this unit?" Simply click yes, and you'll see that the unit has now moved locations in real time. KOWA LOAMS also gives you the ability to merge duplicate units and components in the system. To merge duplicate units, you're going to drag and drop the unit you want to merge into the unit that you want to keep. Like moving the unit to a new location, but this time we're moving it to combine the duplicates into one. We will receive a message that says, "Are you sure you'd like to merge this unit?" Click yes, and the components along with the history have been combined. Similarly, if we see duplicate components within a unit, we can also drag these together to combine the components into a single one and combine all the sample history. Please note that only alike components in the same unit can be merged together. With KOWA LOAMS, you also have access to powerful graphing tools to help you track trends. First, the trend graph. The trend graph feature allows you to create a customized graph for an individual component. To start, click on the trend graph button. Then select a date range at the top left, and on the right, select a graph type from the drop-down menu. When you're ready to create a customized graph, choose the elements that you'd like to add. Then you have the option to save this custom graph type by clicking Save As and giving it a unique name. Compare graphs, on the other hand, lets you compare units of the same make and model or one make and model against another. To begin, select a unit with the make and model you'd like to graph. Next, select on the Compare Graph button. Again, we're going to select a date range as well as our parameters. First, we'll select an individual unit. This displays the specific results for this one unit. Next, we'll select on a make and model. This will show the average values across an entire population of that make and model. Lastly, we can also compare different makes and models against one another. There's additional options as well. We can select here on the right to add or remove grid lines, or click on the orange box to copy the graph to a clipboard. We can then add or remove a data table to the bottom of our graph. Finally, on the right, we can choose our graph settings, which include whether or not to show our limits and maintenance events on the graph. We can also choose to update our y-axis. The logarithmic data scale will change the y-axis view by a factor of 10. Use this option if you have results that lie far outside the rest of your data. You can also normalize the data scale to determine wear rates. Plus, you could use a multiplier if you wanted to change the x and y axis further. Now that we've shown you how to modify your equipment, we'll show you how to create filters as well as report distributions. At the top of our screen, we'll click on the Preferences tab, then we'll choose Filters. Next, click New Filter. Filters are saved searches that we can use when searching for samples, creating labels, or for report distributions. We'll name the filter Engine Samples, Abnormal or Worse. We can also choose Share in Hierarchy if we want other users who view this site to be able to view this filter as well. For every filter that we create, we'll select a property, a type, as well as a value. Now the first condition we'll add will be component equals engine. Then we'll choose severity and choose only abnormal or worse. Lastly, we'll choose customer list to select the work sites that this filter will apply to. As you can see, there are a large number of other conditions we could choose as well. Once we've saved this filter, it's now listed on the left side of the screen. Now it's time to create a report distribution using the filter we just made. We'll click Reports, then Management Reports. There are 15 management reports to choose from, including sample volume by worksite and samples by severity. These management reports can be generated manually, or we can set up automated report distributions. Please note that by default, all KOWA LOAMS users receive email notifications once their samples are complete. Next, we'll click on Report Distributions. Now under Reports, we can choose Routine Analysis if we want standard reports, or we'll select one of the management reports. For Filter, we'll choose the filter we just created a moment ago. If you want this report to have an ending date, choose Expiration Date And under frequency, we'll choose by day of the week or by day of the month. Now we can go into our address book. Here, we can type in names manually or select names listed in our address book and then choose Add. These are the people who will be receiving the automated report distribution. Once we save this report distribution, we'll see it listed at the bottom of the screen. And the users we set up will now receive copies of these reports via automated report distribution. This concludes our enhanced user training. If you have any questions, please contact the KOWA LOAMS support desk at 1-800-655-4473 or loams@endlessinc.com. On behalf of the KOWA LOAMS support desk, thank you very much and have a wonderful day.